Hello, everyone. This is your host. I'm back at it again with another episode of, you guessed it, the internet crucifies one of their own again. Let's just say this is getting way too much, in my personal opinion, especially with the just pearly things going on record saying a couple of things that shouldn't have been said a certain way. I'll say one thing though, that the need to crucify just pearly thing, in my personal opinion, is not really worth it. And one of the people that I noticed that is really leading this charge, that has really been pushing for just pearly thing to be crucified, has been Osheju Duke Jackson. I'm not saying he's really pushing for it, but he's been one of the people who that the moment a situation kind of came out, O'Shea just went on top of it, like as if he's he's a little bitch, trying to expose information out there to the world or something like that. I don't know whether he thinks it's CNN or BBC or something like that, but you know how you have those women who push around gossip, the moment something happens and they push it to the point that to some degree some part of it starts becoming true, and then everybody starts coming out of the woodworks and start trying to do a couple of things. I'm not trying to put O'Shea on the burner. I'm not gonna do that, but what I'm gonna do is simply say that he's one of the first people that actually pushed this narrative out there for just pearly things. Now, before I go any further, I just want to clarify something here. When it comes to women providing information concerning male problems, I usually take it with a grain of salt from them, because many of the times they don't really understand what it means to actually be a man and dealing with a lot of problems. And even when just pearly things came out with her own channel, especially with I think Kevin Samuel was still alive during that period when she came out. But the thing about it is that, the populace basically took to her immediately, I think. And let's just say she was able to get an audience, basically get a following as quickly as, as she started her own channel. But many of it came from the late Kevin Samuel. Now, am I somebody that subscribes to all this red talk, or red pill, whatever? I'm not someone that does that. I'm someone who looks at my environment, adapts to it, and move on from there. But then here comes Pearly into a space that a lot of men have been complaining about. And just like many other women who have actually, I think, seen what is happening in the male spectrum, decide that, let me try and help the guys out a little bit. And because many of them are women, it's very easy for a lot of people to kind of gravitate towards that. And hey, I don't blame them for that. The thing about it that almost everybody is talking about, especially with what's going on right now, is that she spoke on the part of slavery, basically saying that slavery, the stories that we're hearing about slavery, has been exaggerated. She's also been talking about her hiring Africans to work, on her channel, and so on and so forth. She has made a lot of strides with the help of the African community or people that she's been around to be able to get to where she is. Now, the thing about it is that with a lot of the African people that she was dealing with, um, I would say one thing though. When you're around a lot of people that, and you don't have an opinion of yours, when you're around people and you keep listening to other people, but you don't have an opinion of yours, you don't have a ground, you're on the fence, you don't know where to stand on, and you keep following what other people are saying, sooner or later, it's going to land you in trouble. And the thing about it is that I've been watching her channel. I've watched her channel a couple of times, and I noticed one thing. When she speaks, she doesn't speak like someone who actually has a position or a skin in the game. I feel, what I felt like I couldn't really put my hands on it when she was speaking. Is like someone who's been told what to say, and that person is just saying it. There's no like, oh yeah, this is true. I'm passionate about this thing, man. Get off my case. That kind of behavior. Like when you listen to Kevin Samuel say what he's saying, you can feel that fluidity, that sense of, okay, it's in every nook and cranny of his bone, that it's just like it's him. You just know it's him. Look at someone like Myron. When he's speaking, you kind of feel like, okay, you know what? It's ingrained in him. It's part of him. It's not parroting. He's not just regurgitating some concept. You kind of feel that it's him, really him. And so many other producers out there. But with Pearly, you can't really get it there. And I think that is the main thing that actually got her, up, that she's very good at regurgitating others. Basically saying exactly what they're saying, like kind of, okay, I have the facts here, and I have this, and I have that, and she's just speaking like someone who is still in school. You know how you ask a student to come and talk about maybe the crusade, and the student starts to speak in such a manner that it almost feels like as if the person is just speaking from the book. There's no like substance like behind that person's words. It's like as if it's not part of them. It's just like, okay, I'm just studying it for the exam. That kind of feeling you get. That's what I got from her. Look at somebody like Sydney. Her name is Sydney Watson. I've listened to her a couple of times. When you see her speak, you always know that it's part of her. It's not just, she's just speaking, just to parrot somebody else. No, she is speaking because it's part of her. She understands it. She is kind of partially living it. You can get that feeling, but not Pearly things. And so we're just going to go into this discussion about everybody trying to crucify Pearly things about what she said. And the question is, what did Pearly things actually say? First of all, she was saying, my Africans, are more hardworking than African Americans. Is that true? I don't know. Only Pearly things can testify to that. Has she hired African Americans and seen how they work versus Africans when you see how they work? I don't know. In that situation, I will simply say, hey, it's based on your own experience. If someone was to ask if she was speaking from her own experience or from in generality, I do not know. All I know is that that's what she said. The question is, we have to ask her, can you clarify from which aspect you're speaking from? And that's the most important thing here, guys, is that we have to understand where she's coming from before we nail her to the cross. In today's society, too many people are so quick to hold other people accountable for their words, for getting a slip of tongue. And even if somebody said something, they should have the liberty to do so. That's their own. If I had a racist that wanted to speak about something, I'm going to allow the racist to speak. I don't care. Does it affect me there? No. Is it stopping me from getting jobs? No. Let him speak. So I can really understand where you're coming from. So I can understand who you are. And that way I can give you a wide freaking berth from me and my life. I can say hello to you from across the street. You know? I can smile when you pass and say hello. But that will not go further than that. Or for me to sit down there and have a long conversation with you, because now I already understand who you are. So going back to this thing, whereby we're simply saying that she said my Africans are more hardworking than other people. Other Africans or other people. I don't know how it goes. We have to, basically listen to that word. We have to listen to it and simply say, what is she trying to do? Is she trying to create a divide between the two people? I don't think so. I think she was just contributing to the conversation started by Nick Fuentes. Just adding to the conversation. Now, if I'm on the other side, will I feel offended? No, because she's not talking to me. She's not saying anything about me. I know my own work ethic. I know who I am. Why are you going to sit down here and react? You see, this is the same nonsense where people simply say, you know what, I'm speaking about this, especially in the Red Pill community, whereby somebody is speaking about something, but if they're not directly speaking about you, then why are you twitching? Why are you twitching? She said, my Africans are hardworking. And rather than having her explain herself, we have decided that we're going to crucify her for saying, my Africans. Because at the end of the day, it sounds like she's a colonial master. And that is it. Sounding and acting are two different things. You can sound how you want. That's on you. But when you start acting, then that's when I'm going to put my foot up your ass. That's my limit. But for me personally, I think there are too many snowflakes out on the internet who just want to find every little problem and put it out there. Am I saying I am on just Burlington side? No. I am one of the very few people who've been speaking out about people crucifying other people for their words. Simply trying to eliminate freedom of speech, freedom of expression. These are our American privileges that we have in this society. Yet you crazy people on the internet want to use every second of it in order to what? Cancel somebody, destroy their livelihood, and so on and so forth. Okay, sure, she's white. If you have a problem with a white lady presenting problems that are coming, majority from the black community, okay, then yeah, shut it down. Step away. Don't patronize her. Don't watch her channel. But to sit down here and start putting sand in her garage so quickly, the moment some word comes out of her mouth, you will immediately just simply say, hey, this is this. And the funny thing about it is that many of you guys are reaching by simply saying, oh, because she said, my African. She's treating the people who are working with her as slaves. There have been circumstances whereby I have said certain words and I meant it in a positive way, but somebody else who does not understand or do not care to understand where I'm coming from, because they are already on the prowl, getting ready to just destroy me at any moment. And me and my stupid mouth decides, oh, you know what, I'm going to say this, and then everybody take offense to it. With your snowflake personalities out there on the internet. Enough is enough, guys. You guys need to stop. Everybody on Just Probably thinks, oh, she's this, she's that, she's not a saint, she's not a... Guys, find me a saint and I'll show you a snake. There are barely any saints out there, people who are just free of no problems. Everybody has their own problem, everybody has their own issue, everybody has their own beef. Huh? This is a clear case of people living in glass houses and throwing stones left and right. Huh? Am I for her? No. I'm going to repeat it again. No. I am for the freedom of speech and expression, especially when it comes to your channel here on YouTube. I'm tired of people trying to bring out the torches in order to burn people alive. Eh? I'm tired of people participating in witch hunts in order to burn people alive. I am tired of it. You know? I am tired of it. So with that said, I just want to basically bring out that first part. You know, bring out that first part because, hey, you know, it's very, very important for us to understand, hey, that, what do you call it again?
She just come.
It's very important for us to have this first early discussion about the way Just Probably Things actually speaks about her own Africans. Okay? Now, am I saying that how she treats them is wrong? No, I don't know. You don't know. You know? And then you have someone like Sarah Garvey coming out and simply saying, hey, Politing offered him a contract where he would get 70%, where she would get 70%, and he would get 30%. Okay. She offered you a contract. What did you say to the contract? You said no. Okay, no. That's it. No. I don't like the contract. I want to get 70%. And if you cannot give me 70%, then too bad. Now, this contract I'm talking about is between Sarah Garvey and Just Probably Things, where he indicated that Just Probably Things is trying to expand her brand from moving away from all these marriage things and men in relationships, submission, and so on and so forth, into a different form of studio. And I could actually see that in certain things, you know, in which she was doing. She was growing. Money was flowing in from her main channel, and now she wants to expand and push into other domains. Basically, what's happening is that I've noticed that a lot of podcasts on YouTube have been expanding into several domains. You know, they'll talk about maybe houses today, and then on Wednesday they talk about money, and they talk about, and next time they'll talk about, you know, starting a new business, stuff like that. If you look at Fresh and Fit, they have money Mondays, whatever it is, and then some other things again on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then at night they bring in the girls and so on and so forth. And that is how they structure themselves, and and I believe that sooner or later they're gonna add in more channels or more things that are going on. I think Fresh has a channel. Fit also has its own channel. You know, different things like that. So everybody is trying to expand and push into other territories in order to bring in more dough. You know, and I think Probably Things is also doing the same thing in this situation. Now, with that said, there's always a need to what do you call it again? There's always a need to actually to actually there's always a need basically to actually expand. But the idea is very simple, that she was trying to expand with Sarah Garvey, maybe with Auntie Jenny and King Richard and so on and so forth. And I mean, she was throwing contracts left and right. And those contracts were, I don't know who accepted and who didn't accept or whatever it is, but he himself said the contract she gave to him was that of a slavery situation. And personally, I will agree with him on that, Sarah Garvey. If anybody offered me 70 to 30% based on my own hard work, and because I'm using their own brand, that is ridiculous, man. Let's look at it this way. If I wanted to open up a McDonald's shop, right, and I was going to be fronting a good number of that money. Look, let's just say McDonald's are going to front me the shop, right, and I'm going to go ahead, get the employees, and McDonald's going to be bringing in the what do you call it again, the food stuff and this and that. And what they want me to do is basically manage that site. And if they gave me 70-30, I will agree with it. Yeah, 70-30. I'm just managing. My money isn't in there. My money isn't that much in there. Maybe I have maybe 10,000 in there, just small. And the remaining is I'm managing, I'm hiring, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, so on and so forth. But McDonald's still owns the building, the location, the food, and everything like that. Like, seriously, 70-30 is not a bad deal, right? Because all I'm just doing is managing, and I only brought in 10,000. That's it, right? But in a situation whereby I think what she was doing was trying to do with Sarah Garvey was Sarah Garvey was going to bring in what? His own content under Pearlie's name, and he would have to build that channel up. And as a result of that, he will be paying her 70% based on his hard work. Now that to me is ridiculous. Severely ridiculous. The only way, number one, she could actually do 70% is, number one, she's the one bringing in the content. She's the one writing all the content. She's the one dealing with production and so on and so forth. All he just needs to do is just show up and just participate in the conversation, and then that will be it. If that was how it was, then yeah, 70-30 makes sense. If she's bringing everything, but the fans want to just see Sarah Garvey, then yeah, 70-30%. And if he sees how much is coming in because, okay, it's because of Sarah Garvey, then Sarah Garvey has to make a demand that show needs to be changed to Sarah Garvey, Sarah Garvey's name, and then he can get an increase there. And then he has to now start participating in writing up the show and the production costs, and so on and so forth. And then yeah, it becomes Sarah Garvey's, with 30%, with 50%, right? If he wants more. But then I don't know how the show is structured, because we never actually saw it, so I cannot really simply say, hey, this is this, right? Nobody can actually say, hey, this is this. So in that regard, I'm just going to show you guys a clip from Auntie Jenny, and I'm going to say one thing. I don't like the way Auntie Jenny actually insulted Sarah Garvey. I think she should have just kept it brief, classic. Just simply say, hey, this is the situation, this is the situation, this is the situation, so on and so forth. And then that's it. Let her air her own piece and leave Sarah Garvey's insult out of the whole situation. And I think with Auntie Jenny's statement coming out, it just threw a little bit more fire on this burning flame already. So I'm just going to keep quiet, and you guys can actually watch and see what's going on. So Yeah. All right. Hold on, please. Okay. Okay, Auntie Jenny.
Then I had to go and see.
Okay, Auntie Jenny. Take it away.
About Sarah. All I want to know is why? Why, Sarah? Now, you're showing pictures. I was all right until you mentioned my name. And you're mentioning my name like I'm I'm under some kind of slave master. Let me explain to you, right? Because Pearl tells me everything. And let me explain to you. Have you seen my contract? Do you know whether I've got a contract or not? So when you're talking about Auntie Jenny, talk about what you know. Talk about what you've seen. Don't talk about what you don't know. Right? And I always tell Pearl, be careful about who's around you, because not everybody that says they're your friend are your friend. And she's stupid and naive, and she trusts people like how she trusts you. And look what you're going to do. What? Because she won't pay you a salary. Because she won't pay you a salary. How do you expect to make money when somebody else ain't making no money? Right? You can't tell me how many hours I do, because I come in here for about 4 hours a day. I come in here, I sit down, and I go home. That is it. And that's for the party. And you want to take private videos of people at the party. Right? What were you doing at the party? Who was you there with? Because all of a sudden you turned up and you're looking really like, you know what I mean? Like, you're one of these strong black men, you know what I mean? You're wearing your black today, and you're wearing your little gold pendant. Your little tiny gold pendant.
You see, that's something I cannot tolerate. Tiny gold pendant. Auntie Jenny, you gotta stop right there. You gotta stop right there being disrespectful. We got to leave insults out of logical conversations. It's very important, Auntie Jenny. You know? And I'm going to basically take a slide here with you. However, I'm not going to sit down here and basically dismiss or throw the baby out with the whole dirty water. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at the fact of what you're actually saying and try to understand where you're coming from. That's the most important thing. So with that, Auntie Jenny, take it away.
Tiny gold pendant, I need a magnifying glass to go and see. But yeah, you're representing the blacks, innit? The same way how you're representing the blacks. Now, I always thought that you were a man that followed Kevin Samuels. God rest his soul. Right, Kevin Samuels. And the way you're turning up. Tell them how you turn up. Look how you're dressed now to suit the black man. How do you normally turn up in your Primark shoes? Tell them how you turn up. Tell them how you turn up at the thing. Ask them you didn't want to tell them what you had to say about China. How you were threatened with China too. About, oh, is China for real? Is this guy really for real? Or is he, you want to expect me to go gossiping about China's back? And I said, you know, he's the real thing. China is whoever he says he is. Tell them about the drink that you brought. Any black man you know that brings a drink. What drink did they bring to a party? Right? You had Rolito that brought his cognac. What did you bring? What did you bring to educate the young people? Port. And then you want to go and tell everybody how port is, right? And then what did you do? You stand there, everybody's drinking drinks, and you stand there with your port. And what did you do when you was leaving? You walked out the door and then you come back. Oh, because you forgot your bottle. So much of a man, you forgot your bottle. Now, please, don't put me in your mouth. Do not say things about me that you do not know. You understand? I am retired. I have bought my own house. You know what I mean? I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't do this because I need the money. I do it because I got nothing better to do. Because I'm retired. So don't come here looking like I'm working for some kind of some slave master, right? That I'm some kind of like I'm some kind of slave, because that's not me. That's not me. Right? So you are just like MTR. You're bad-minded and you're bitter. Why? Because, oh yeah, you've helped Pearl. And what has she done? What has she done? What has she done? Those can't do better. Do better. Do better than her. You got so much. Do better than her. Don't ride on the coattails of her. Do better than her. That's what you should be doing. So rather than go around and betraying somebody who thought that you were their friend, right? But all of a sudden you're there doing secret videos that you want to go and show everybody. Keep my, as Will Smith said, keep my name out your mouth. Keep my name out your mouth. All right, Zara? Keep my name out of your mouth. right? Because you and me are in nothing. Whatever you and Pearl's got, you and Pearl's got. Nobody else will mention my name, but you want to come and mention my name. Do not mention my name. Man up. Don't just dress up like a black man when you want people to be there, and then you know your £15 shoes. Your £15. Yes, I check because I'm that kind of person. I'm into shoes. I looked inside and I saw Primark. No, I'm wearing Marks and Spencers. You understand? And Pearl never paid for this. So I can't see how you would expect to get a salary. Yes, she pays for all of this. You know why? Because what people don't realise, I come in here and I sit down and I chat, right? I chat. I come down on the way to my grandkids, or I might go and see my man, or I might go and see my friends. I come down here and I chat. I come down there and I chat. I'm all slave masters. So slave masters going to pay for my mother's funeral. Slave masters asking me out. Slave masters knew my mum. Come on, Sarah, do better. Do better. Do better. You sound sad and bitter. That's what you sound. Sad and bitter because you didn't get your own way. Because if she fell for you last week and she'd listened to what you had to say last week, you'd have been signed up for the same thing last week. So just because you got turned down, right, because you want a salary. No, everybody gets paid according to how well their channel does.
All right. You heard it from Auntie Jenny. You heard what she had to say. And what she had to say is a mouthful. I'm not going to sit down here and simply say Auntie Jenny is right. I don't know who's who. I don't know what's what. But what I can say is this, guys. Is that it's very important for us all to basically reserve our opinions until we really understand what's really going on here. Now, Sarah Garvey, personally, I would say this behavior that Sarah Garvey did is just improper. Because basically you're adding flame to the fire. Rather than speaking about, hey, this is what happened with me, I'm just me, right? To Pearl and Pearl only. You decided that you were going to share it with the world and say, hey, this is what Pearl is doing, so that you can actually instill hate towards Pearl. Now, am I saying Pearl didn't do this, or maybe she didn't do it to other people? Sure. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. I don't know the real situation. I don't know what's really going on. All Sarah Garvey can say is from his own position. But why release that information now, when everything is all going against Pearl? Why? I can tell you, I can give you a good reason. For the views. For the views. Because now you have Pearl on the chopping block, and everybody is going to do everything that they can in order to get views on their own channel regarding Pearly things. And Oshay Jackson, at this point right now, is getting more views than any other person that's out there right now. I mean, yeah, there's some people out there that are actually making a lot of money from this situation, but Oshay is one of the people that is doing so. His channel barely even gets 2,000 to even 3,000 views per day. This man is raking in 33k views per day. I mean, are you seeing this nonsense per video right now that he's making on Pearl? This guy is banking on Pearl. Really banking on her. I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, why? Why? And let's dial back every situation whereby with Pearl's fall comes a lot of other channels that other people are trying to destroy in the process. MTR was smart to actually get in front of this, but for me, in my personal opinion, MTR should have reserved his own communication until much later. He shouldn't have said anything regarding this situation. He shouldn't have said anything regarding the situation. And we don't even know whether he actually knew that Pearl was going to be going live with Nick Fuentes that same day or the next day after he left her with, what's this other lady's name again? Is it Marley, or is it this thing? I've forgotten her, Marilyn. I've forgotten what her name is. Because Because I know both of them would have advised her properly and simply say, hey man, you need to push back seriously on this guy, especially when you're dealing with this kind of interview. But then again, we have to try to understand where Pearly thinks is all coming from, right? This wasn't a versus, this wasn't this or that. This was merely an interview. And many of the times, sure, some people want to come out there and they want to, radically go after somebody to make sure that they look stupid, during their own interview. But in my personal opinion, I think just asking questions and let the fucker, in my personal opinion, just speak his own mind. Let me hear everything he has to say, rather than having the interviewer, trying to antagonize the person, and the person is also reserving their own information. No. I want that person to be able to speak freely, not get any indication that they are actually causing harm, and I want to hear every bit of their so-called racist ideology and so on and so forth. That way, I can be more informed, more, how would I say, more prepared to deal with some of these idiots outside there, to understand what the new technology in regards to their so-called racist way of thinking and actually acting, so that I can be well informed to deal with them when I see them on the outside. I don't want anybody pushing back on people with crazy ideas. I want to hear every bit of it, every part of it. I don't want anybody pushing back and telling them they are wrong, they're this, they're that, they're that. When you start going around telling people that they're wrong, what they start to do? They start to become defensive. They start to reserve some of their more crazy ideals and actions, for another time. They give you some of the moderate information, some of the lighter information, and you're just like, you think you're getting all the good, juicy stuff. No. You just keep quiet and you listen properly. You listen well and make sure that you can understand them. This is why I personally, if I was in Pearl's shoe, I would have kept quiet and listened to this guy. Even though I'm black, I know he's against black people. I'll keep quiet. In almost every other place, I'll keep quiet. Does anybody remember what Chris Tucker said? He said, I allow people to talk so I can see how full of shit they are. How full of, shit, exactly. How empty they are. And that is what I try to do. You ask them a question, you keep quiet. And you keep nodding your head and say, I see, I understand. Is that so? Okay. Yeah, yeah. In that process, I'm judging you. I'm understanding you. I'm getting every bit of information I can see there. And without you understanding that, I'm using that opportunity to really understand every section of who you are, so that I can deal with you at a later time when I get that opportunity. Make sure that I strong arm you to a certain area. I know what you're capable of doing. I know how you think. I know what's going on with you. And that's what Pearly thinks, in my personal opinion, from the interview I watched, was doing. Now, okay, let's move away from all of this stuff. I'm not going to sit down here and defend Pearly things, but I will say this. In regards to her saying my Africans, yes, I can see how people can take offense to it. That I can see. In regards to saying my Africans work better than other people, that is her own subjective belief. She's entitled to it. No different from other people saying that men did not suffer during in the old days. Men never went through any kind of oppression. Many people say that nonsense. I hear it all the time. I deal with it all the time. I just have to laugh and walk away, because it's unbelievable that people can be so ignorant. All right. With that said, I have to move over to the next question. The next thing that she said. She said her Africans are usually late. She made something to that notion. I think Nick Fuentes actually indicated that he's usually late. He's an Italian. He's late. and that what's his name again? Yeah, that's what he said. He was late. He thought he was going to be late, but he came in early. I just want to clarify this aspect of the conversation. I think it's very important for people to understand something about the African community. That's what we call African time. That's what we call African time. And that African time, you have to basically use it to your own advantage, especially dealing with the African community. I know my early risers, I know my early movers, and those early movers, I always give them the exact time it's going to start. Let's say an occasion is going to start by 9 p.m. at night. I will never tell most of my African community that it's going to be by 9 p.m. we're going to start the occasion. No. The occasion starts at 7:30. That's when the occasion starts. Because then I can expect everybody to be around by 9:30. Okay? So again, I'm going to give it to you guys again. If an occasion is starting by 9 o'clock in the African community, you have to put your time to be 7:30. Why is this? So that it gives people time to, number one, come in, number two, introduce themselves, and for your latecomers, there will always be too many latecomers. People, like, can you imagine somebody who's hosting a shower? A baby shower, and the baby shower was supposed to start at 7 o'clock, and the person is going to the occasion by 9:30. Can you imagine? Coming to your own baby shower so late that it's guys, I'm telling you, this is what we deal with on the other side. So like I said, if you're going to be doing any African stuff, please and please, or one African person invites you to an occasion, please take out that 1 hour, okay, and then go to that occasion. Because then you sit down there and you get frustrated and angry that nobody is there yet, even at the 7 o'clock. That nobody's there. This thing has happened to a family member of mine. She's always early to every occasion, so that means if her work starts at 7:30, she leaves the house by 5:30. She needs to start going there 2 hours early and be there on time, just maybe 1 hour prior to. And she applies the same thing to almost every occasion, to the point that I've had to, on many occasions, draw my ear and simply say, listen up, oh. It's an African occasion. It's not an American. It's not a Caucasian occasion. It's an African occasion. Please go there accordingly with the African time in mind. She doesn't listen. Right? As a friend, when she arrives there, she calls me like, these people are late. Everyone is late. I'm like, have you forgotten where you are? It's an African occasion. It's not a job. And it's not a Caucasian party. Okay? I know you normally go to a lot of Caucasian parties, but come on, for crying out loud. It's an African party. 1 hour, 2 hour late, it's not lateness, it's just arriving on time. Now, how probably things may have said it may have been in poor taste about saying that Africans are always late. But hey, 2 hours to an occasion, yeah, that's not lateness, that's just being on time accordingly. It's as simple as that. But when the Africans arrive, well, guess what? Work gets done. There's no talking, there's no this, there's no that. Boom, everybody gets to work and finish all their work before they even start trying to talk or engage in conversation. And that's always one thing you're always going to see with a lot of African employees. They come in, they most like sometimes they'll come in late, but man, when they come in, They settle, boom, work gets done. Nobody sits down there and start talking. No, they're going to work until that work is finished, and then everybody just relax with a glass of beer, and that's it. Now, am I saying this is for everybody? No, but for a good number of them, that's how it usually works, right? Now, I don't know about any other communities, but I can tell you one thing when it comes to the African people. Yeah, when they come in like this, they relax, boom, it's just work. They just go to work. Boom, 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 work, all the way to the end. That's why you can enjoy them when you have them as employees. But the lateness, yeah, is expected. Now, I'm trying to get you guys in contact with what MTR actually said. He made some statements about just early things, and this was actually covered by O'Shea Duke Jackson, concerning MTR, and MTR was one of the first people who came out and simply said, hey, I don't support what's her name again said. I don't support what
70% goes to me.
I don't support what MTR. I don't support what do you got again? What Pearly thing said, and so I don't know. The main thing is, let's hear it from Sarah Garvey. Let's hear it from Sarah Garvey about what he believes is the situation right now. So just give me a second, guys. I'm just going to transfer it over to Sarah Garvey for Sarah Garvey to make his own statement, and yeah, we'll go from there. So without much said, let's get on with Sarah Garvey. Sarah Garvey, take it away.
And this is interesting. This is not me all the time.
Show Pearl what colonization was like. How people was me attempting to
Any of us
was filmed in 2022. And in that video, what you saw was me attempting to tell Pearl and show Pearl what colonization was like. How people went to another group of people and took their resources and took what was theirs and built their empire off of it. So when Pearl now plays like she doesn't know what colonization is, and she doesn't know what slavery is, and she says these insensitive statements, in that video I actually attempted to give her a book. It was called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. I've read it myself. She semi-dismissed that book. She kind of dismissed that book, and then she went on with herself to go and interview a man like Nick Fuentes.
Okay, so here's a situation whereby he's simply saying that she refused to acknowledge the events that occurred in slavery and still goes ahead and interviews Nick Fuentes. I don't think that anybody who is alive right now is simply going to simply say that, hey, slavery didn't exist, or slavery situations, we're not, I don't know, we're not in existence or something like that. The thing about it, a lot of people have to understand is that Pearl is trying to change her image. Is trying, and no, not really change her image, but trying to diversify. Basically, starting interviews, basically interviewing other people. I think that's what she's trying to go into. Where you have all these different groups of people that are coming into your own show and basically giving their own information regarding certain things. Now, people have to understand one thing. How did Pearl become Pearl? And you actually have to look at it from where she started from, right? She started from, number one, getting herself involved in controversial issues. Those controversial issues now led her to blow up. Being able to stand against, what do you call it again? Being able to stand against certain things. She was able to simply say, hey, listen, this is the situation, this is what I've heard, I understand where you're coming from, and so on and so forth. Now it's time to fight back. She interviewing Nick Fuentes doesn't mean that she subscribes to his own way of thinking. It's no different from when somebody like Morgan actually basically interviewed someone like Tate, right? It doesn't mean that he subscribed to Tate's information. It just means that he wanted to interview him and speak to him concerning that issue. Now, how does Piers Morgan actually make his own content? Very simple. He makes his own content. He makes his own content by being controversial sometimes with the people that he deals with. That's how Piers Morgan does it. You see how many people he's interviewed, on his own channel. I think that is what Pearly thinks is trying to do. She's trying to move into that interview space. But interviewing people with controversial mindsets, many of the times we've looked at Pearl and we've seen her try to interview people in the manosphere area. And during that period, she picked up a lot of things like this and that and blah, 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 blah. That's why many of the times when you see her conversing, she's always kind of rephrasing someone else's words or this person's words or this person's view and so on and so forth. It doesn't feel genuine when she is stating certain things. So I think that what she's trying to do is get into another field, which is basically interviewing people with controversial ideas, and with time build her own brand around the interviewing things. That's basically becoming a real interviewer, something like that, who's able to gain a certain audience by interviewing certain people. I think that's what's going on. So hey, let's continue to listen to Sarah Garvey.
Pearl has Africans that work for her. Now, Nigeria has many issues. Now, the disparity in Nigeria has rich and poor people living just on the breadline. And Pearl has these types of people working for her. They edit her videos. They make her thumbnails. So Pearl has taken people on from Africa, which on the surface looks like a good thing. And I guess it is. Africans are being fed. They're taking money from her. They are feeding their family. Amazing. However, with a colonial mindset, this can be quite dangerous. And what happened during that interview with Nick Fuentes was that she used an age-old tactic that colonizers use, which was the divide and rule tactic. She pitted African Americans versus Africans when she spoke about how hard Africans work compared to how hard African Americans work.
Okay, let's stop Sarah Garvey right there. Was that what she was trying to do when she made that statement? Or was she contributing to the conversation that Nick Fuentes actually made by saying that he himself is, late sometimes? Right? Was that what she did? No. Was that a colonial mindset? I don't think so. I think this is a way to simply tie her own way of thinking or what she said to something that is dangerous. Sarah Garvey, seriously, my man, you are reaching in this situation. You are definitely reaching. Let's carry on.
And she also used the term, my Africans. Much of what Pearl says is determined by her management, which she has said to me on many occasions that she shares with Candace Owens. So when you have a colonial mindset and you have a management who tell you what to say, what generally happens in my personal point of view and what I actually saw was that she began to start paying people pittance. She began to start offering contracts to people that owned them, just like a colonial master would. Case in point, myself and Pearl sat down to have a conversation about me signing to her contractually. And I want to make this very clear. I have never signed to the Just Pearly Things network. I have always been an independent. Pearl has known that, and I have known that. And so anytime I worked with Pearl, we had agreed a fee, and I worked for that fee. I have never been signed to the Just Pearly Things contracts. However, she has signed a few Africans, namely King Riches and Auntie Jenny. Now, I have no problem with a King Riches or an Auntie Jenny. However, if we look at the contracts that they signed, you would understand the reason why I use the term colonization and colonial. Now, myself and Pearl sat down to have a conversation, and she expressed to me that she wanted to do a new segment for her show. In that segment, she said that she would like me to present a topical news show on a day-to-day basis. So I said, okay, no problem. Talk to me. What are we talking about? And she said she would want me within her studio 4 days per week. I said, okay, from what time? She said from 10 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening. And I said, okay, well, that is 7 hours. I said, so working 4 to 5 days a week for 7 hours is essentially a day job. I said to her, okay, so what is my guaranteed fee at the end of the month? What is the salary? And she looks at me and she says, we do not do guarantees and we do not do salaries. So I said, so if you don't do guarantees and you don't do salaries, what is it that you actually do? And she said she does percentages. So I said, okay, cool. Well, what's the percentage? She said, Sarah, you're the high end, so you will get 70-30. So I said, fine, okay, let me listen. 70% goes to me and 30% goes to you. Now she looked at me and she said, no, 70% goes to me, Pearl, and 30% goes to me, Sarah Garvey. And that's when I started scratching my head. And I said, hang on a minute. So are you telling me that's a high-end contract for you? And she said, yes. And I said, so are you saying that Just Pearly Things Network has other people on low-end contracts? She said, yes. I said, King Riches and Auntie Jenny? She said, yes. I said, what's the low end? She said, it's 10 to 15%. So essentially, she could be owning 80% of the content, which is basically the monetized views on somebody's channel, and they only take home 15% of the money. She said yes.
So guys, let me just say that.
All right, so you guys just heard from him what he just said, and I'm just gonna say that if that situation that Sarah Garvey just explained is true, and it's somebody else's channel, then it's ridiculous then, right? It's ridiculous. But then that's what men are made for, right? When you hear some bullshit like that, especially when you walk onto the job, like I've gone into the job and they're trying to give me 20 cents on the dollar, $20 for a job that I usually get maybe $37 on. I'm gonna say, you know what, this is bullshit, and then I walk out. Very simple. I said this is bullshit, and then I walk out. There's no if or but about it. It's exactly what I want, and that's it, right? Just like him, if that's what she told him, I'll just say, you know what, that's crap, and I walk out. Like I said earlier on, you have a right to decide on how you want to do something, right? If you don't like something, hey, say, listen, I don't like it. And then you walk away. But now, trying to use it now to fuel what is going on between just probably things and the internet. I mean, come on, man. And then at the end of the day, you're still wrapping it up under a colonialist mindset. Basically, you're saying that she is a racist at heart. I mean, come on, dude. Seriously? Seriously? Sarah Gavi, I don't know what to say, man, but I certainly believe that you need to have a different way of thinking. Nobody's going to hand you anything in this world. Nobody. And people will always try to cheat you, especially when it comes to business. You have to have your wits about you when it comes to business. I have had to deal with it from different people, even from my own people. All right? That deal was crap. And let me put it like this for you. If I was offering the same deal, I would say something like that. To tell you, hey, this is the high end I'm giving. You know? Just to sell you on bullshit. Just think about it when you walk into a car dealership, right? They're gonna tell you, man, listen, I am giving you 3.75 on the interest, man. I'm giving it to you because I like you. It's the best that I've ever given anybody. And you hear that bullshit all the time. I hear all that bullshit all the time. Like, it's the best I can give you, man. I like you. You're a good guy. I like you. I'm going to give you 3.75 because it's the best that I've ever given anybody with your credit score. In fact, people who have better credit score can't even get this 3.75, but I'm giving it to you because you are special. Oh, yes. I have dealt with so many people like this, man. That is, it's ridiculous, guys. So please and please, just remember one thing, man. Business is business. Money is money. People want to make money at all cost. Okay? No matter what. So, I'm not going to simply say that's a colonial mindset, this thing, by reaching into the fact that she offered you 30% on how much you make. You know? I think it's wrong, but it's not a colonial mindset. But anyway, guys, you guys will have to decide what you guys want to do, yes? Alright, guys, I'm your host. It's been a pleasure. I just want to use this opportunity to sign out. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Until then, you guys have a lovely day. It's been me talking about Pearl and her problems.